Our next experiment is determination of viscosity coefficient of given organic liquid using Ostwald's viscometer. We have different types of viscometer. This is called as Ostwald's viscometer because Ostwald has designed this viscometer. So what is viscosity? So it is resistance offered for the flow of liquid. So you know that viscosity, liquid takes the shape of the container. If you take a cylindrical vessel or if you take a bottle here, so if you open the lid of this bottle, so water flows in the form of layers. Okay, so if you take a cylinder instead of this bottle, so water flows in the form of layers. So each and every layer wants to come out first. So in the meantime, each and every layer will offer friction for that immediate layer. So similarly, the layer which is sticking to the the layer which is sticking adjacent to the bottle will also offer the friction. You will get friction by this bottle or the cylinder, right? So the overall thing is called as viscosity. The frictional property or the friction offered by the flow of liquid is called as viscosity. We have different organic liquids. Each and every organic liquid have a different viscosity. So viscosity depends upon temperature. Viscosity depends upon density of the liquid at given temperature. So let us see how to determine the viscosity of a given liquid at given temperature. So we are going to take a dry clean viscometer, pipette out either 10 ml or 15 ml or 20 ml or 25 ml of the given organic liquid into the viscometer using the wider limb. So here we are going to use a graduated pipette. Okay, so it depending upon the viscometer capacity, you're going to pipette out the liquid. So we're going to put in the wider limb and using the smaller limb, we're going to suck the liquid. So we're going to determine the rate of flow of the liquid. So the upper bulb will have 2 marks. I will show in the next diagram. So we'll have 2 marks. From this mark to this mark, we're going to measure the rate of time of liquid to flow from this mark to this mark, 2 different points. So later, you're going to repeat it 3 times. So once it is repeated, you're going to take the average time flow of the liquid to move from one point to the other point. Going to calculate average time flow. Going to take the liquid, put it in the same container from where you have taken, wash the viscometer and rinse it with acetone and dry it. Viscometer and pipette. Why are you going to rinse with acetone? Because if you are using water itself, the boiling point of water is around 100 degrees Celsius. By the time water evaporates, it takes time. It's a tedious process also, right? Again 100 degrees Celsius, again from 100 to coming down 25 degrees Celsius, it takes time. Whereas acetone is a volatile liquid. If you rinse it, what will happen? Acetone is a volatile liquid. After 10-15 minutes, it will get dried, and cooling also it will become very easier, and time taken for the experiment also will come down, right? So why then you're going to measure out same. If you're taken 10 ml of the liquid, you're going to take 10 ml of the water and repeat the experiment. Why are going to measure the time flow of water? Because we're going to compare the rate of flow of liquid with that of water and determine the viscosity coefficient. Okay, so here this is the viscometer. This left side of you is the wider limb. From that we're going to put the water or liquid. Okay, this is the narrow limb and you can see there is a small bulb above. This is the Ostwald's viscometer. So from above you're going to suck the liquid using the narrow limb here, and there will be a 2 mark above the bulb. Above the bulb will be 1 mark and below the bulb there will be 1 mark. You're going to, once the liquid comes to the above mark, you're going to start the stopper and wait until the liquid crosses the mark below the bulb. Okay, so we're going to measure the time taken for the liquid to flow from that point to that point. Similar way to do for water also. So once you do thrice for liquid and water, going to measure the average time taken for both liquid and water. At given temperature, density of liquid is constant, density of water is also constant, viscosity of liquid is also water is also constant. So time flow of liquid you have measured, time flow of water you have measured. So if you tell the temperature, the constants will be given. You're going to substitute all other things and you're going to determine the viscosity of liquid. So viscosity of liquid is given by density of liquid into time flow of liquid divided by density of water into time flow of water into viscosity of water. So as given temperature, time density of liquid, density of water, viscosity of water will be given and it is constant at given temperature. Time flow of liquid and time flow of water you have measured, we're going to substitute and the given answer will be in millipoise. Okay. So what are the factors which affect the viscosity? As told earlier, it depends upon density. Viscosity increases with increase in molecular weight. So if a thinner person and a fatter person run, who will run fast? The thinner person, lean person will run fast. The faster person, fatter person takes time, right? The viscosity will increase with molecular weight. Polar compounds are more viscous than non-polar compounds. Branched chain compounds have higher viscosity than non-branched compounds or straight chain compounds. Temperature has a marked influence on the viscosity of the liquid. That is, temperature is viscosity is inversely proportional with temperature, and density is directly proportional with viscosity and density are directly proportional to each other. So the viscosity is determined. Okay, the time flow of liquid, time flow of water, both are determined and the values are tabulated, and viscosity of one particular liquid is also determined. For the demonstration, tabulation and calculation, please click the below link. Okay, we'll get the complete demonstration of viscosity of experiment. Okay, thank you.